Okay, John Graham with you again. Let's talk about procedures in relation to ISO 9001. In the new version of the standard 9001-2015, procedures are actually optional. The standard that says that you'll use the documents required by the standard, which there's a couple of things like your quality policy, your quality objectives have to be documented in your scope, but no actual procedures like there were in the old standard. Then everything else required are records. So procedures are optional. They're not trying to tell you don't have them. They're just trying to say you need to decide. So in your decisions, let's think about this. Knowing they're optional, there are some that we do highly recommend, like document control. Who's going to create documents? How are they going to become documents? How are they going to be approved when they get revised? How is a reader going to recognize a revision? How are we going to control that? That's what document control is about. Let's don't let it get out of control. Some other areas to highly think very seriously about procedures, you may want order entry, purchasing, training procedure, preventive maintenance, calibration, and also non-conforming product. And you may want one for corrective action and internal auditing also. Now, what's the difference in a procedure and a work instruction? A procedure is more global. Like, for example, in a laboratory at a big chemical plant, you might have one procedure for processing all samples. It's going to talk about how samples get received into the laboratory, how they get signed in, how they get allocated or assigned to a particular analyst, and then on in how the records are recorded and how retains are kept. Now, below that, we might have individual work instructions that says, this is how we process an analysis on an FTIR. This is how we run a gas chromatograph, and on, things like that. So that's the difference. Procedures usually very global. Work instructions are usually much more granular with a lot more details. But really, it's up to you. Both are optional. But now think about this when you create procedures and work instructions. Who's going to read them? Where are you going to keep them? Who's going to have access to them? Don't hide them away. People say, well, it's no good if you put them in a binder and you set them over here on the shelf and they collect dust. It's even worse to hide them in an electronic binder in a folder where you can't see them. Out of sight, out of mind. The truth is, who reads most of these procedures? New employees and auditors. So be careful what you write. If you really need them, present them, place them where you need them, where people can see them, make sure they're accessible. And I have some other ideas for procedures that make them more useful. Instead of just text, you can paste in. It's very easy nowadays with all the software. You can paste in pieces of graphics, pictures of actual equipment being used, somebody turning a valve and showing you the correct one. I can also put computer screenshots in procedures. And why not put videos? It's very easy to take videos. You can make the video your entire procedure. And then we're less dependent on actual words. We work now in an environment here, especially in the United States, where there's a lot of people working here and English is their second language, and they may not know some of the particular phrasing and wording as well as you do. So the more you could put in graphics, pictures, and videos, the better off you are a lot of times. So remember, procedures are optional, but make them count, make them accessible. They have to have access to these. That's required by the standard.